Hello guys, in this video I am going to talk about how did I score 93 marks in my CA final SFM paper. So firstly, I would talk about the resources that I used to prepare for my CA final SFM paper. First priority was solving ICI module. So I ensured that I have solved all the questions from ICI module. Secondly, I purchased a question bank of the same teacher from whom I took the classes, ensuring that it covers at least last 6 to 7 attempts, or maybe like 6 to 7 years question, so that I have a good variety of questions to solve and so that I feel more confident. So whichever question bank you buy for your exam, just ensure that it has like huge amount of questions which would help you to be confident in that subject, in that particular chapter. Second thing, how did I revise my SFM subject during those 3 to 4 months exam leave? So firstly, as a funny thing, when when I went on my exam leaves, I just couldn't recall whatever I've studied in my SFM classes. So the first and foremost thing is to revise the concept. So firstly, you revise all the concepts either from your notes or maybe watching some of the fast track classes. Second step is to solve the questions in the module, and the third step it is to solve the questions in the question bank. Once you have done these three things, then you should solve a mock test paper to evaluate where do you stand. Now, while you are revising SFM in your first revision, I would advise you to go through each and every question. And when I say, it doesn't mean that you have to solve each and every question, it just means that solve 2 3 questions of each category in a comprehensive manner. And for others, you can just scribble, you can maybe just flip through the pages, you can just do some calculations on calculator. That's what I used to do, so as to save time, because we don't have much time that we can solve each and every question in a comprehensive way, also taking care of presentation and everything. So do that. While you would be solving your mock test paper, you would realize that you are committing some mistakes in the calculation itself while you are using calculator. That used to happen with me a lot. That's because we are solving questions in so much speed that we don't realize we haven't pressed equal to maybe twice or thrice. We haven't pressed equal to for 12 times while we were required to press 11 times, etc. So just to build that speed and to also know what are the concepts in which you need more practice or in which you need more understanding, you need to solve mock test papers. Make a list of the areas of improvements that you need to focus upon in SFM. Once that is done, you start a second revision. Now, in the second revision, you don't need to solve all the questions. Just solve 2 3 questions of each category, and for the remaining time, just see what were the questions, or like which were the questions in which you were facing problem in a first revision. So I used to like mark some of the questions like to do or maybe star, just to remind myself, okay, these are the questions I need to solve during my second revision. So you need to prioritize. Firstly, make sure that you cover some questions from each of the category, and then when you have extra time, just try to solve the questions that you have marked that okay, I will solve it in my second revision. Now when you reach your third revision, then you must be like very selective. So what I used to do was, whatever questions I have marked in each of the category, firstly I used to solve them, and then I used to flip through pages. Okay, I will flip through the pages. I'll think in my mind, okay, I would follow this method. I would apply this formula. I would follow this approach to solve this particular question. I would use these values. And then maybe I'll just do some rough calculation on my calculator. I would just note down some of the values and I would reach at the answer. Just to save time. In SFM, time saving is the key. And for that, you should be very good at using calculator and scribbling on the paper and doing some mental maths. While you are at your third revision, make sure that you are able to build this habit throughout the first and the second revision. And I don't think in the given time you would be able to revise SFM more than like thrice. So assuming that you will revise SFM in your 1.5 day, so what you can do is, firstly, have a planner with yourself. So during my CA final exam leaves, I was having a chapter wise planner. Okay, these are the 3 chapters I'm going to solve in 0.5 day. These are the chapters I would solve in my 1 day. And when I say chapters, it just doesn't mean chapter. It has the numbering of questions. I would solve question number 41, question number 50, or question number 7. At that granular level, you should have your 1.5 days plan. And I was having that for me. So for example, in my case, I had kept derivatives, forex, and portfolio evaluation at the first priority, like in zero point 0.5 day, and remaining chapters on the next day. And I always used to keep a buffer of 3-4 hours wherein I am not revising anything specifically, but using memory techniques, I am revising it in my mind. Okay, these are the concepts, these are the formulas, and that's how I will write my paper. I used to imagine myself writing the paper, and it really helps me. So, for example, when you imagine yourself that you are writing the paper, first question from this chapter, that's how you would approach. You would spend like 5-10 minutes on, let's say, 15 marks question, etc. So try to imagine that, and then there would be some topics you will recall, and then you will feel that, oh, I forgot the formula, I need to revise it. You can think all of it only when you have some headspace. So always keep like 2-3 hours at least free for your mind, wherein you can think what all can you revise, what can go wrong, where you can improve, where you can save time. So yeah, these are the techniques, or I would say this was my approach for my SFM paper. But one thing I would say is ensure that you understand the concepts. You cannot expect the same question that you have seen in your question bank that it would be there in your final paper. But if you know the concept, you would be able to solve it. So make sure that your concepts are clear. So all the very best for your SFM exam. If you want to know any specific thing about my SFM exam strategy or any other exam strategy, let me know in the comments.